Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 265 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I am Weston Pugh, and today on the show, we're going to talk about a house that is over at 9463 Green Terrace Drive. This is a really cute house that showed up in the market last week. We toured it, got some good intel for you, and can't wait to share it with you.
And in our second segment today, we're going to talk about the 5 things you should do immediately after closing your house.
5 things.
There's a bunch of things you should do. These are like 5 things, day one, to be prepared.
I would agree with that. Now, what is happening in Dallas specifically that we are all on bated breath about?
Is that next week?
It's Monday, isn't it? Is it next week? It's the 8th.
2 Mondays.
Yeah.
In 2 Mondays.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. Okay.
So you've got time, but you better plan because
get prepared.
They are like ginning this up like it is going to be no gasoline and no groceries in Dallas. Good Lord.
All the bread and all the toilet paper is going to be gone.
Plan ahead, people. Plan ahead. It's going to be crazy. So what we thought we'd do this week is talk about 3 locations. There's a bunch, but where would be really interesting to go watch the eclipse from? And we hope you like these.
And the first one is the West End parking garage, and this is has rooftop parking on it. I've been on the top of this parking garage before, and it is. I think you chose this one, but I think you chose very, very well.
So it's very interesting. So if you actually Google this, there are lots of people that will use the skyline of Dallas as the backdrop for like wedding, graduation, all sorts of photos right here. It also may be really interesting to be above the fray. Now, Zach pointed out a really interesting thing. He said, yeah, they're going to charge you $50 to park there. But hey, go check it out. I think this will have a really interesting setup. The number 2 place that we talked about, and we've been here before, we really liked it. This is Canopy by Hilton in the Dallas Uptown area. So this has a really huge, it's not rooftop, but it is a bar that's very indoor-outdoor. Expansive is another word I'd use to describe this bar.
Part of it's covered, part of it's uncovered outside.
And so this is actually being able to pull back from the east and look at downtown. So depending on where the actual sun is at the time, that might be a consideration. Mm-hmm. But I will say one of the other things too that's interesting is that this is a pet-friendly hotel.
Interesting.
So you can take your 4-legged friends.
Rob and
who are you talking about?
3 of us went up there, not you, but
Sounds like
2, me and Clint. Golly.
There
Rob and Clint and I went there and had drinks one night before we went to black tie dinner or something like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was beautiful, beautiful.
And the number 3?
The number 3 is Trinity Overlook Park. Now this is the old Commerce Street Bridge, which is Continental Street Bridge, excuse me. And Trinity Overlook Park is at one end of that bridge. I have a feeling this bridge is going to be packed from one end to the other. And it's got some really, really unique views of downtown and the skyline. It's a great place.
So the interesting element is that as the sun begins to shift in the west, goes down in the west, downtown Dallas gets hit by some amazing light. And so from this area, there's a couple of others, but this in particular gets really good light. Mm-hmm. So if you're a photographer that wants to have some unique pictures of what downtown Dallas looked like during the eclipse, this would be one of my go-to places.
And this is a fun place to go fly drones.
It is.
We've gone over there and done that a couple of times.
You also get the Calatrava.
Yep.
There's a good 1-2 combination that really speaks to Dallas and are some of the icons for Dallas.
So there are your 3 places. Pick any of those 3 and go, or stand in the middle of your backyard.
And if you go, take a picture and tag us. I want to see it.
Yeah.
We should. Yeah, y'all should do that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, if you are one of the people that receives our monthly printed newsletter, you got glasses in the mail.
And if you want to be on that list,
just put your information in the link below. Or if you don't want it out there publicly, just send me a text.
DM him. Slide into his DMs.
My DMs.
Did I say that right, Zach? Zach just rolled his eyes at me. All right, shift gears. Let's go into Market Watch. So,
Market Watch this week was there was not a big change. The only surprising change was down on the second half. But coming soon listings were up 1%. There were 82 coming listings soon. That is a coming soon listings. That is a optional status that an agent can put their listing into MLS if they want. And then new active listings were down just a little bit, down 2%. There were still 489 active listings that came on last week in Dallas County. And the option period, that is the first status of a contract that listings go into, and those were up 17%. So there were 406 houses that went into option period last week.
That is the bump that we're looking for the spring market. I wish actives had also bumped up, but we'll take what we can get right now. Once a contract has gone through its option period and everyone has agreed to both sides of what has been negotiated, we move into a pending status. That is up 2%. And then that is then followed by sold. That's up 13% to 305, which is up 34 homes. And as you see, mortgage rates actually dropped. They were at 6.9 last week. We're at 6.77. We are holding, conforming. And it'd be really interesting right now is to find out how many loan applications are being made right now. I think that'd be interesting. This information about mortgage rates is brought to us by Optimal Prime. That does sound like a commercial.
It's not right.
We are not.
We gather this information from a website called Optimal Blue. They're
Optimal Blue.
a data aggregator for many mortgage companies across the country. Free website.
I did make that sound like they were playing.
Like we were getting worse with it.
I am. We are not sponsored by them, but they have good data.
They have good data.
They have great data. All right, let's take a look at this 9463 Green Terrace Drive. This is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, just under 2,000 square feet. Price at $659.
And I love this location. I've seen several homes on this street, and I absolutely love it because it's right off a Northwest Highway. It is a cul-de-sac street, and this house sits right at the end of the cul-de-sac, and so you are facing down onto Green Terrace to the south, but you're so far away from Northwest Highway, you don't have any of that hubbub or noise or what you would normally get thinking you're living that close.
Now, I was familiar with this area because it's become extremely hot. Lots and lots of opportunities are in this area. But it is funny because you knew exactly where it was when I said, hey, Green Terrace, that was a great looking house. We should actually go preview it. This is also really conducive for commuting. So Northwest Highway, if you're not from Dallas, Northwest Highway is an excellent way to get east and west. But there are also some really great contributors to getting north and south. So if you need to go to 35, the toll road, those are really great commuters. Thinking a little bit smaller, you can get over there and jump on Inwood, turns into Hampton, and you can be in Oak Lawn, in Oak Cliff in no time.
And you are so close to the hospital districts, you're close to the central business district, you are close to Love Field. There's all of that. One of the places that we used to go that is just almost directly across Northwest Highway from this is called Bluffview Growler. And Bluffview Growler was a brewery that opened right before COVID. And so they went into COVID not really having a choice about dealing with it or not. And I know, when after everybody, at least learned a little bit about this, that this was one of the places that has really nice little outdoor seating. My beer profile window is about that big, but I've always found something there. And they added food. They've added food to the menu, and I haven't had a lot of the bigger things. I've had a lot of the smaller things, and it's certainly a snack worth having.
That's excellent. So one of the things that doesn't cost anything is going to be actually taking a visit to Bachman Creek Greenbelt. Now, what's interesting about this is that if you're driving down Lemon, you will notice that they have added a lot of sidewalk, really oversized sidewalk. And it looks like it's going to end in access to this Bachman Creek Greenbelt. This is a really great space. If you need to take and run a dog, this is the place to take and let them go. Lots of easy walk. This is all on, I believe it's Shorecrest is the street.
Yep.
So plenty of parking around here. And as you can see, a little access to Bachman Lake as well.
And this is a 58-acre park. 58 acres, and it's been there since 1930. It was one of the earlier City of Dallas parks.
Can you imagine if they ever spent the money to fix this up like they did Clyde Moore?
Yeah, no kidding.
Go-to for that area.
It'd be crazy.
What's your last one?
Last one is Fernando's Tex-Mex, and this is a really good Mexican restaurant. We've gone there at lunch several times. I go there with friends for dinner. They have really good margaritas. The food's good too, but I rate Mexican foods based on the quality of the margarita.
And it's so funny because I just drink tequila and soda, so I don't ever.
It doesn't
I
matter
know it's
to
going to be
you.
the same every time. But what I do rate them on is their chicken flautas. And if they're skinny like a pencil, I'm going to be pissed. These are like big old fat Cuban cigars. They're excellent. So it comes with guacamole. So
Wow.
these are my go-to.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to try that next time.
They are excellent. That's just my easy catch on those things.
So our property today is 9463 Green Terrace Drive. This is a 3-bedroom, 2 full bath, 1 half bath home, just under 2,000 square feet, and built in 1955, but has had some really nice renovations done along the way.
So this is what caught my eye immediately, because when the pictures came across, I was like, I hope that house looks as good in person as it does in these pictures, and it did not disappoint. Mm-hmm. So the homeowner, actually, I'm not sure if he is an architect or what, but has really honed this house. So if you were looking for a move-in ready design house, this would be the one I would take a look at.
I love how he's used every space. This room is really that beautiful in person, and I love the storage that he's created with the banquette that's mounted to the wall, and all of those windows were newer windows. They all look right out down Green Terrace, and they look right out on this really neighborly front yard.
And it still surprises me that this is not 24 or 2,600 square feet, because it lives so well. So as you see, we were just in the dining room, and that transitions to this really great seating area. And the seating area, again, has this great windows. He's done a really good job of specifically placing this lighting right here to highlight the art. Of course, that stays, but it really kind of helps a house feel more intimate and thought about. And I feel like today's buyers are really looking for this.
And I love the openness that this house has, even though it was built in the 50s. A lot of those homes feel very claustrophobic in rooms. This one does not. It's got the big wide opening that goes between this formal dining area and formal living room into the den.
So I agree with that. I think it's really important not to tear down every wall. Mm-hmm. And as you can see here, he didn't need a third bedroom. So what he did was he made this bedroom right here on the front of the house. He actually made this his office. And this office has really great light. I think it's so critical. Nice big windows. You can also see behind that podium and horse, there's another window. Just really well thought out.
And this is the den that we were looking into just a moment ago. Fireplace there, that is original wood. That is the real wood paneling. The lighting, as Weston said, is really done just to accentuate the way the home really should feel.
And I am just blown away at the picture that this was done. This is an excellent. I had to go see this because it is so hard to catch a half bath. Here we see this is the master bedroom, and I want to point out that is a 4-poster kind of architecture. I bet it's CB Crate and Barrel bed. That is a really big bed, and it does not swallow that room. Smart use. Again, great light. Added the 2 doors that walks out into the backyard. I believe there's a seating area that's also back there. Just, it's so thought out that I would move in just as it is. This is just a perfect house for me.
It really is. And this is the other bedroom that is also a king-size bed. There's also access to the outdoors in this one. This one has the master bath just off to the side. Wood floors throughout, but he uses a lot of rugs, which really kind of warms it up. And this is the kitchen.
So the kitchen is a really great space because the size is enormous. And if there's things that you'd like to change, this has the opportunity to really shift gears, but it's in the perfect location. So on the left-hand side, that's the living room that we talked about earlier. But on the right-hand side is a really large utility room that moves into the garage.
And this is the backyard. Super inviting. Plenty of room out there. This house sits way back. Well, I'm not going to say way back. Sits high upon the lot, and so it's moving the house back. It's really kind of contained the yard into something that I feel people will see as manageable. There's still plenty of room. If you got a big dog, there's still plenty of room for that. But it continues that trend that we recommend, where it's like bringing the outdoors into your living space.
Expand that space and don't get taxed on it. So this is 9463. Green Terrace Drive. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, built in 55, just under 2,000 square feet, priced at $659,900, and that is $334.47 square foot.
Which is, I mean, on a cul-de-sac, the condition of this, $334 square foot, that's a value.
When you are looking in Dallas to stay under $700,000 to $800,000, this is one of the ones I would completely focus on. So in the comments, we're going to actually leave the link. Click on that link. Look at all the pictures that we didn't use. Zoom in and out on that map. Share it with people. If you would like to see it, let us know. We'd be happy to make that happen. But we'd also like to say thank you, Rick Adams, for allowing us to feature this home. It is amazing.
And with that, we'll be right back. Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pugh, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you miss the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. It's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered. If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223. And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second segment, episode 265 of Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and in today's second segment, we thought we would talk to you a little bit about the top 5 things to do immediately after closing on your new home. And these are really important things that if you don't pay attention, and we'll kind of go over why we chose these versus any of the others, and kind of give you some tips on how to make them easy as possible.
And these really kind of come from, they're not just things that, that like, oh, these are here are 5 things to do. These are really 5 things that you need to have arranged or lined up, or
it's not just the moving truck.
No, not at all.
These are some of the other things. So the first thing that we want to talk about is changing your locks. And so this is just so important for a multitude of reasons. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that we like to point out is that if you're buying a home that has had a lot of trades and has a flip, sometimes those trades actually have keys. Last thing you want is for there to be a situation that arises. So changing the locks is as important as you can be. That should be the first person that meets you at that house.
And really it's if you're going to install electronic locks, it's the time to do that. If you're going to change the locks, certainly change the mechanics itself, certainly go ahead and do that. There are locksmiths are worth a dime. They're great. We've worked with a couple that come right to your home. They're there, 30 minutes after you've funded on your loan, and they are like ready to do it.
That is so important. The other thing that we like to talk about, this is the opportunity to actually schedule and have that deepest clean, not just the vacuuming. Mm-hmm. We're talking like scrubbing out your chimney. We're talking about doing the drawers,
doing the baseboards, cleaning out your cabinets,
doing the ceiling fans, all the unfun stuff.
Yeah, changing your air filters. Get it out.
So this is also, and we talk about this with clients, is that when it is easiest to paint and take down texture off of the ceiling is when nothing is in there. So many times we see homeowners that want to have, and sometimes it can be helped, we get that, but they want the moving van to show up 10 minutes after they've closed and funded. That really allows no room for error, but it also allows you, it prevents you from being able to do any of these items as thoroughly as what we would consider important.
The next thing to do is when you take possession of your home is change all of the batteries and all of the smoke detectors first. That way you know exactly what the age of them is, and then test them after you change battery in them. And you also need carbon monoxide detectors in homes that have any type of gas in them. If you have a total electric home, you might not need one, but there are other reasons you might want it. But it's definitely the time to do that. And if your security system or your fire detection system is wired, get on the phone with the security company and test it. Make the alarms go off. Make sure they see it on their end. It's well worth the 20 or 30 minutes of your time.
All day long. Now, this one is near and dear to my heart because this actually was something that I actually did and it really paid off in dividends. Unfortunate situation, but documenting your home. I actually didn't intend to be a documentation for insurance purposes. I was simply thinking I was going to Airbnb my condo one day, but I had pictures of everything within the house. And I thought that that was one of the key things that made it where it was indisputable within an insurance company what I did or what I didn't have in the house. Jeff did bring up a really important fact earlier. As technology has changed, we have the ability to upload so much of this information into the cloud that it actually can really outlast any fire safe that there is.
Absolutely.
So,
and keep receipts. You know, there's whenever I buy something, I just take a picture of the receipt with my phone. That way I don't have to worry about that receipt laying out somewhere. But you're always going to have those pictures stored somewhere. They may not always stay on your phone. There's a digital file that I have that when I do take a picture of those things, I move it off into that folder because, who knows, I don't need to return it in 10 days. But, and then finding receipts really not easy.
Until you have to prove the price of something to the insurance company, you will not understand what a burden that becomes. It is like salt on a wound.
It is.
It is the... Anyway, moving on. End on a high note, Jeff.
So the last thing we want to talk to you about was, and this is critically important, is know how to shut off all the utilities of your home. Know where your main fuse box or panel box is, and know where your main cutoff is. If you're in an older home that hasn't had their service updated, you may not have a main cutoff. You may just come into a breaker box and see all your switches, but know where to go to shut off the power if you need to.
And I think that, so a lot of the newer homes have a manifold within the garage, so you're able to turn off the water just to the faucet and hot water in the downstairs bathroom, or you can turn it all off. But some of the houses like the one here that we talked about earlier, you need to actually go to the water meter. Now, keep in mind, do this before it becomes an emergency because there are 2 keys. If you have the wrong key, it will not shut the water off.
Yeah, you're going to need 2 tools to do that. One is to get your box open, and that's what Weston was talking about with the 2 different keys. And then once you get that open, you need to be able to reach down in there and get to the valve with a crescent and turn that 1/4 turn.
I can tell you right now that if the water ever has to be turned off, it will be me that is going to stick my hand down there because I know that Jason's going to look at it like there's a snake in there. Yeah. Not going to do it.
Yeah.
So
the last thing is about the how to turn your gas off. There is usually a valve before as the gas riser comes out of the ground into your home. There's usually a valve connected to that. You can also, and that's another 1/4 turn. You'll need a good crescent wrench with it. You will probably want something that's like 16 to 18 inches long, and or you can shut it off right at the meter. There's always a valve there.
Good information. Know your house.
And the last 2 items, put your water meter key where you know it's going to be all the time with a big crescent wrench, where you know it's going to be, and don't use them for other things so you leave them laying around, because in the time of an emergency, you need to be able to think, this is where I go to shut that off.
Where's yours?
On that wall.
All right. I was wondering. I was like, I'm going to ask him. We'll see if he knows. So mine's in my kitchen drawer.
Good.
All right.
Well, I hope you found that helpful. If there's anything else that you'd like us to talk about, just put it in the comments below. We'll do it.
And just remember, we want to be realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.